What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, sort of a sit-down, casual, wrestle talk discussion type video today, which I do want to do a little bit more. You know, I don't want to just do figure videos. I kind of want to have a wide variety of content on my channel, and I'd really like to do this a little bit more, give my opinion on professional wrestling and all that sort of stuff. And what a night last night was for professional wrestling. We saw the debut episode of AEW Dynamite, and on top of that, NXT had an absolute banger of an episode, or at least from what I hear. And what I mean by that is, well, NXT is no longer live in Canada where I'm located. It's not in the UK. It's not on the WWE network yet as of recording, which is the next day. And that's sort of a problem because I was really upset that I didn't get to watch NXT last night. I mean, for obvious reasons, which we will get into. But anyways, last night I worked. I have a full-time job. I got home around 9:30. I turned my TV on, find out that NXT is no longer live in Canada. Now we get it on like Thursday or Friday, so hopefully they get a deal like that, because that could really be something that puts AEW over the edge, is if they have more of an international audience and they can have it live in Canada, in the UK, and all these places where NXT is no longer live, at least as of now. That could be a big deal breaker for AEW. They could really get a lot more international viewers on a live weekly basis. Whereas NXT may win in the US because, you know, they're a bit more mainstream than AEW as of right now since they are WWE. It's just something that NXT really needs to do, is they do need to get a live TV deal for all these other countries, so it's not just in the USA that you can watch it live. Either that or have it also be available on the WWE network at the same time. Because last night I turned it on over to Sportsnet 360, which is the channel we get all of Raw and SmackDown on here in Canada, so I kind of assumed maybe we're going to get NXT there since, you know, the USA network is getting NXT and that's where they usually get Raw and SmackDown. But no, I guess we get it on Thursday or Friday, so that's a little bit disappointing. But then I flipped it on over to the sports network TSN, which just announced recently that they have a deal with AEW to have Wednesday Night Dynamite on every single week. So I guess at least it makes the choice for me a little bit easier, where some people are like, oh my god, which one do I watch live? I only really have one option unless I want to find an illegal stream to watch NXT. So when I got home from work, I did start watching AEW. I tuned in around halfway through the women's match, Rio versus Nyla Rose, and honestly I really did enjoy that match. There was some pretty insane spots. Nyla doing the whole senton thing onto the chair. I remember Rio did like a foot stomp on her and Nyla just stood right up partway through it, so that was pretty interesting. I did really enjoy that match, and Rio is the first women's champion. After the match there was like this attack type thing and Omega came out because I guess they're friends from Japan or something like that. But regardless, Rio's the first women's champion. I really don't like how the AEW Women's Championship looks. Maybe I'm in the minority for that, but I just don't really like how that title looks at all. Some other stuff that happened on the show before I got home to watch. Hangman Page and Pac had an amazing match from what I heard. Cody beat Sammy Guevara, and I mean, that's expected. Cody's going to be challenging for the title at Full Gear, which, by the way, that is an awful name for a pay-per-view. You guys know that I've called out WWE before on like bullshit stuff like that, but I'm going to be impartial. If I see something bad or good, regardless of what name it's under, I'm going to talk about it, and that's what this new whole discussion series is all going to be about. But I really think Full Gear is just a bad name for a pay-per-view, and I didn't like their women's championship. Also, the stage design is another thing that got me. I think Trey mentioned this in his video, but it's not like the stage design is bad. We've just seen it before, and it'd be nice to see something a little bit more unique for Dynamite, in my opinion. But anyways, on to the high points of the show. We've got our new women's champion. Cody picked up the win, and they started building towards Cody versus Jericho at Full Gear. The main event was pretty amazing. The Elite versus Jericho and LAX. Maybe there's some sort of a group starting to form there. Partway through the main event, Jon Moxley shows up and attacks Kenny Omega, and I popped really hard for that. It was great to see Jon Moxley back and healthy, and they just brawled all around the arena. It ended with Moxley giving him a DDT through a glass coffee table, which was pretty insane. I'm used to calling that move the Dirty Deeds. I believe it's called the Paradigm Shift in AEW, so I'm gonna have to start getting used to calling it that instead, because you know he's Jon Moxley now. We have to call him Jon Moxley. I'm not going to be calling him Dean Ambrose. I'm going to call him by his wrestling name right now, because I am honestly such a big fan of Jon Moxley, whereas Dean Ambrose I just found really corny. So yeah, I really do like Jon Moxley a lot. That was really cool to see him back. I popped hard, and that glass table spot was just insane. And I'm really hoping that we do get to see a little bit more of this edgy stuff from AEW, because I believe it is rated TV-14, so you know we get to see some of that more edgy stuff that maybe we won't be seeing on WWE because of their PG rating. Speaking of former WWE stars showing up in AEW, Jack Swagger / Jack Hager is now in AEW as well. He helped out Jericho and LAX attack the Elite and like the Rhodes brothers and all of them, so I don't know if Jericho, LAX, and Hager are going to form some sort of a little stable, or at least for now just to deal with their rivalries going into Full Gear. But regardless, Jack Hager is now in AEW. You know, it's kind of cool. Honestly, I was never that big of a fan of Jack Swagger in WWE. I thought he was just like average at best. But honestly, I'll give it a chance. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of Ambrose much in WWE. but I'm a big fan of Jon Moxley. So that was pretty well the whole main event thing, that whole brawl at the end of the night. Jericho's team did end up winning, of course, the main event, since Omega was taken out by Moxley, and it was basically the Young Bucks versus Jericho and LAX in a 3-on-2 handicap match. But it was a pretty solid match from what I saw. I really enjoyed it. Overall, AEW's first show was pretty damn good, in my opinion. They had pyro, there was some really good in-ring action. We had the first women's champion. Moxley returning is pretty big. Jack Hager showing up is pretty amazing. The main event was really solid. Overall, just a pretty great show. We have wins from like Cody and MJF. Obviously, they're going to be guys that are going to be really focused on in AEW. But overall, I was really happy with the first episode of AEW Dynamite. So that is AEW. Now let's get into NXT, which unfortunately I haven't gotten to watch the full version of yet, just because it's not on the network and I haven't really gone looking for a stream yet. But I need to, because my favorite wrestler, Tommaso Ciampa, is freaking back. Let's go. I am so happy to see my boy back in NXT. I honestly had a really bad day yesterday, and I wasn't as excited as I thought I would be, but now it's kind of hitting me that, Ciampa's back. I'm so happy for him, and the neck injury that he just went through, I couldn't imagine, and just seeing his whole journey on Twitter with all the videos he's been posting and all that amazing stuff. It is so amazing to see Tommaso Ciampa back on NXT TV. That was the biggest moment of the night for me. I know some people it might be something else, which we will get to, but I am so happy to see my favorite wrestler back in NXT. He, of course, did come out and confront Adam Cole after the main event, which was pretty amazing. I saw the clip of it, and the crowd pop was just insane, but I am just so happy to see Tommaso Ciampa back in NXT. It just warms my heart. I'm so happy for him. He really deserves it, and I'd love to see him become NXT champion again, but then again, Adam Cole's pretty amazing. He's like in my top 3 favorite wrestlers right now, probably, so, I'm just so happy. But aside from that, Finn Balor showed up in NXT, and he is back. Whenever Finn was in NXT, he was honestly my favorite wrestler at the time. I can't remember exactly if I did YouTube videos then. I don't think so, but he was my favorite wrestler at the time whenever he was in NXT, and I just feel like once he got called up to the main roster, they just completely ruined him, and he's been off for like a month. I think the last time we saw him was at SummerSlam when he was destroyed by The Fiend. Honestly, I thought this was either going to bring one of two things out. One, he was going to turn heel and go with the OC and just kind of have like a rebirth sort of thing, or two, the Demon was going to come back and face The Fiend down the line for the Universal title. But I think this is even better than either of those options. On the main roster, Finn's mostly just been floating. He's had the odd like big feud, but honestly he's just been wasted. He's been floating a lot and they haven't let him do a whole lot. He's just been like a smiling baby face with not a whole lot of character. I think on the main roster we've seen the Demon maybe 3 times, whereas NXT we got to see it every single takeover because that's how it should be. It was a big match, so he's going to bring out all the stops in order to win the title. Whereas on the main roster, he brings it out to face Baron Corbin, but he doesn't bring it out for the Universal title against Brock Lesnar. So I am glad to see him back. I think Triple H understands the character a lot more. His hair's starting to grow back after he shaved his head a few weeks ago. But overall, I'm very excited to see Finn Balor back on NXT full time. It's going to be amazing. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with him. But what I'm really hoping we see is Tommaso Ciampa versus Finn Balor versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. My mind would just absolutely be blown. That could be one of my favorite matches of all time. I just love those 3 so much. They're definitely in my top 10 favorite wrestlers right now, and it's just very exciting to see what they're going to do with Finn Balor in NXT, what they're going to do now that Ciampa is back, and of course what they're going to do with Adam Cole, because he is still NXT champion, Undisputed Era is still tag team champion, Strong is still North American champion, and Shayna Baszler is still women's champion. Which of all of them, that one surprised me the most. I really thought Candice LeRae was going to win the women's championship, and Shayna's now had it for like a year, and it's her second reign. She won it first way back at the NXT before the New Orleans WrestleMania 34, and then she dropped it to Kairi Sane for like 2 weeks or something like that, and then she won it back. But Shayna's been champion for a really long time, and I really thought Candice was going to be the one to defeat her. She's beaten Candice, Bianca Belair, Ember Moon, Mia Yim. There's just so many people that Shayna Baszler has gone through. Who is left to defeat her? Honestly, I think it's going to be heel Io Shirai, because I guess that's sort of different than face Io Shirai, but heel versus heel. I don't know. Who's going to be the one to defeat Shayna? Because I feel like it's honestly time for her to drop the belt and move up to the main roster. I would definitely like to see her on the main roster. But yeah, Shayna Baszler is still women's champion, and I think she needs to drop the title soon. Another thing is Velveteen Dream. We got to see his Elite 72 figure attire. If you guys aren't figure collectors and you're just here for the Wrestle Talk part, basically Ringside Collectibles posted this figure that's coming out. I collect action figures if you're a regular follower of my channel, and everyone was baffled because he's never won that title and it's absolutely atrocious. Why would Mattel waste their time with this one? Well, I guess they got to do it in advance because he wore it tonight, and I just do not like the attire at all. I'm probably going to skip out on that figure. NXT, I believe, went 15 minutes over, some people were saying, which is was a pretty smart move for them if they want to, you know, bring over a few viewers after AEW ends and NXT is still on. Both shows had amazing commentary. There were so many great matches. This week, I think I'm really gonna have to give it to NXT. It was AEW's first week, so of course there's always room for improvement, and I think they're only going to get better with time. Both shows had amazing commentary. There were some great in-ring moments, some great returns / debuts, and I think overall it was just a great night for wrestling fans. I think we're honestly the real winners because we get two amazing products that we can go and watch every single week. But overall for me, I think the winner for this week personally was NXT. If you would disagree with me, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. If you think NXT was better, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on this week of professional wrestling. But that is pretty well going to do it for this video. I'll have more Wrestle Talk videos coming out, I guess, because I really did enjoy filming this. Hit the subscribe button if you are new and you want to see more videos just like this one. Like if you did enjoy. And until next time, I'll see you all very soon.